YouTube, model railroader fans, and of course, whoever else watches this wonderful brand of nuttiness that I bring. Welcome to the Boeville Newtown. This is vlog 14 for 2017. It happens to be the 15th of May, 2017. I'm Ray. If I haven't mentioned that, you have to forgive me. I'm slightly scatterbrained at the moment. It's been a long day at work, and those that follow me on Facebook, not just my own personal page, but my railroad page and my railroad group on Facebook, and I'll make sure that those links are put down at the bottom here in a bit. Know that where to start, really. You know, the better part of the month of April, I obviously have not been on here in over a month, which is, you know, it is what it is. But you know, we went back down to my daughter's college, since she's accepted and she's committed. She's going to be a St. Mary's Seahawk in the fall, St. Mary's College of Maryland. But you know, we had that. We've had a couple other things that have gone on. And then, of course, there were the birthdays and things of that nature. And then, unfortunately, last Tuesday, my father-in-law passed away. God rest his soul. He had been battling cancer, but ultimately, what took him out was what appears to have been a heart attack. But you know, he had been battling cancer for about 2 years. It was terminal. So the bottom line is he's in a better place now. He's not suffering. So so that's one of the reasons why I haven't been down here. The other reasons being is the fact that we're preparing for my daughter's graduation from high school. So I've been doing a lot of work outside, which hasn't left a lot of time to come down here and do much of anything. Our bowling season finally wrapped up, and we've got a banquet this week. But you know, I'm off topic. So, but that's basically what's been going on. So I know I had actually put up on Facebook, I guess it was a week or two ago, that I started looking at some old plans. I think I may have actually even mentioned it in vlog 13, but regardless, like I said, I'm scatterbrained at the moment, so forgive me. I started looking back at the plans that I had for my parents' house years ago, and realized that the dimensions were actually pretty close to what I've got down here. Pretty close. Not 100%, but pretty close. So I started playing around with seeing if I could modify or get what I had designed years ago to fit down here. And I've had little to no success thus far of being able to do that. So, however, looking back on those plans, I did come across some things that I hadn't thought about. You know, when I designed and built the monster that's over here now, it's a 4-track loop, continuous run, you know, so on and so forth. Well, apparently, I'm really going to date this, but back in the 90s, early 90s, probably, well, it would be about 27 years ago now, when I was in the service, was when I was designing stuff for the house that my parents were living in at the time. I had designed a single-track main line. Well, it was basically a single-track main. It was more or less a single-track main with an industrial loop, for lack of a better term. So it was literally just 2 tracks with 2 hidden yards, and they were stacked hidden yards. One represented Harrisburg, the other one represented somewhere down south. I don't think it was Richmond at the time. It was another area. So it was basically, it was a interchange. The Boeville Newtown was an interchange with the Pennsylvania and the Chessie system. So looking at that, I've decided to kind of get away from the whole two-loop continuous run to a point thing altogether and just go back to the single track with the interchange. But I decided, well, actually, I was looking at it as a single track, but I think I'm going to try and do 2 tracks instead of 3. 2 continuous loops, and then have the interchanges, or the yards will still be hidden. That's been the issue. I can get the main part into this basement. I can't get the hidden yards in here for some reason, and I haven't figured out why yet. And then, of course, with all the other events here lately, it's just not happening. So it is what it is. Anywho, one of the things that I did want to kind of discuss is, I've been talking about the mashup locomotive. I've been talking about a couple of other locomotives that I've got sitting over here that I eventually want to paint in the home road scheme. Obviously, I haven't gotten around to that yet. But what was kind of fascinating is the fact that Bill Sturgeon over at the Elizabethtown and the Benton Central Railroad actually found himself a PA and a PB. And I was like, well, his are Athearn units too. I was like, well, I pulled up a picture and sent him that. I said, that's what mine looks like. But his paint scheme really turned out nice. I like what he did. And I'm not sure if I'm really going to go through and really repaint. I kind of like the striping on this. I realize it may not be prototypical. But it's mine. So, and this is how those other ones would get painted up too, with that yellow stripe, the orange stripe, and then this navy blue. And of course it's black on top, which, like I was saying, the thing I've mentioned a few times before, is sort of similar to the colors that the Chessie system used to run. But this is the paint scheme that'll eventually end up on there, and it's like I told him, I said, one of the things was, I did this so long ago, probably here again like 20-some years ago. There were some things, there were some flaws in the paint, like over here. There was another flaw I just noticed. Of course, the tape, when I taped this off, didn't stick very well, and it kind of bled on the one side. And this side, for whatever reason, this is all done with press type. For whatever reason, the lettering on this side of the locomotive is all chewed up, where this side seems to have held up rather well. And I don't understand how that happened, but it did, and thus, okay. So, it's one of those things, when I get around to redoing some of the stuff, that'll get redone as well. At least cleaned up somewhat. Really wish I had something else to show, but I really don't. Did come across something else that was fairly fascinating. One of the guys that I've worked with for years, a fellow by the name of Doug, he actually lives out in the Denver area and has been working, or has been running trains on a layout out there. It's a group or a club layout. Well, if anybody knows Walt World, Walt, I think it was about a year or two ago, moved out to the Denver area as well. Well, come to find out, these guys are literally living on opposite sides of the city of Denver. So it was just kind of funny that here it is. Walt at one point in time came over here, took a look at the Boeville Newtown, and in fact he just did a shout out for me, which is how this whole thing started. Thanks again, Walt, for that shout out. I know I thanked you in the comments, but that was really cool. I'm going to put a link to that video on the bottom here as well. But it was just so funny that here it is, Doug and Walt, live on either side of the city of Denver, and, we've all got a hobby in common. So, Walt's met me face to face. Doug and I have never met face to face. We've always talked on the phone. He was helping troubleshoot and things like that, but so it was just really, really neat. But Doug Evans, if you're watching this, I'm going to have a link to his YouTube channel on here as well. He doesn't. It's been a while since I've actually looked at his channel. I know he's got some railroading stuff up there. It's mainly. I think he did just put a video up not that long ago for the railroad out there, for the club layout that he works on. So, you know, you get a chance, check out Doug Evans, and like I said, I'll have the link to his YouTube channel at the bottom, along with Walt, and that actually for Walt, it'll actually be the link to the video for the shout out that he did for me. I've had, you know, so that's basically where I've been. I mean, it's just been, as everybody has said, you know, life gets in the way, you know, and it's absolutely true. This is a hobby. This is something I do on the side. And, you know, it's kind of funny, too, because I know a couple of the Facebook groups that I've been a part of, there's been questions that have come up, and I've been able to point people over to some of the videos that I've done in the past for some of the How Did He Do That videos, namely on locomotive maintenance, which is something I desperately need to get down here and do, because I've got a couple of locomotives that really need some mechanical massaging, I guess would be a good way to put it. But again, I'll get to it when I get to it. So that's basically it. So I'm back. I'm still here. I'm still running around. You know, things are what they are, and you know, I'll get back in here and start doing some work when I actually get a chance, when it gets to be too daggone hot to be outside. That's probably when I'll be down here working on the railroad. So, before we go, Dave Wilmain, rest in peace, sir. You will be greatly missed. Appreciate the 20 years that I did get to know you. And Godspeed, my friend. So, you all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless.